What is up, maniacs? Welcome back to Sound and Pound. It is February 6th, Tuesday, 2024. Said that weird. I woke up very recently with 20 minutes ago. I am your host, Drake Riggs, along with your other host, Alex McEwen, here from MMA Mania. We have things to talk about, Alex. It's a time right now in the MMA calendar. A little slow, very middleweighty. So that is why our question of the day is middleweight good right now? And we will talk about that here in a moment, but we will let you guys throw in your comments, questions, concerns, all that. And you can do that throughout the show. We will get to them super in depth at the very end, but please do comment and interact throughout. Follow, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff on the socials and what have you. But UFC Vegas 85 was this past week. It is now Super Bowl week and UFC Vegas 86 week, the middleweight showcase. So that is why our question of the day is middleweight good, Alex? Because UFC Vegas 85 was a card. It didn't do a lot for me, to be fully honest. I have seen mixed feelings about the main event specifically, so that is why our question is about the middleweight division, which gets all the main events. We saw this kind of happen last year, obviously, starting off around the time Strickland got, it was the Imavov fight, and then, well, it was Cannonier. It was right before that. Cannonier, Strickland, there's been this influx of them wanting to spotlight the division, at least make them headliners, as Joe Pyfer and Hermanson is this week's, which we'll get more into that as we go on. But let's just answer our question ourselves. Was middleweight good, Alex? I've seen people say it's the worst it's ever been. I don't know if it's there, but it's a weird time, as we know.
I think it's just people are being critical because, now that Israel's gone and we don't have a champion that's defending, right? Like the title switching hands. Yeah. And so, I mean, on one hand, it's fun because we don't know who the fuck's going to be champion the next title fight, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, people might see that as like, oh, the division kind of sucks and there's no long-term champion, right? But when that happens, then people complain that it's a boring division because it's such a dominant champion, yes. Right? So it's like,
he can't win.
He can't win. Like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Like, what do you want?
It's funny though, because we did kind of talk about this a little bit, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, but you make that comparison. At least I made that comparison to the light heavyweight. It was after Drakus won is when I asked this question, but we made the comparison with light heavyweight, how, the title at that time, the golden era, as they were calling it right before Jones came in, was bouncing all around. Everyone thought that was the best ever, but I think it was like, and it was maybe, but that was, I think, more of the names in there is why people feel that way about it, because we had obviously all those kind of legendary figures in there where it's not quite the same here, but it is more fun and competitive, especially in the title scene when that happens, compared to, again, what I brought up, like the flyweight division when Demetrius was on top. Wasn't a bad division. It just makes that misconception when you got all the good guys and then this guy's just actually way greater. So, yeah, it's weird, though, with middleweight right now because of the fact that, yeah, you mentioned the Izzy thing, and maybe he would be the closest to that because he's what we just had, and now, taking his time away, maybe get back into this mix. It's very strange. It is very strange.
But... plus compounded on it, it was a dog shit main event between Dolidze and Imavov. Like, so it's just, yeah. Plus the card was just lackluster as fuck. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to mention that off the top right here. And, I'm a guy, you guys, if you know me, who I try to be as positive as I can possibly most all times, but I think after this card, I'm officially like really over Apex shows. I'm really not excited at all for this week. And I mean, we'll get into that card more, but that's not a great one either. It's worse than this one on paper for sure, I think. But man, the vibe and the feel of it is just, it's so fucking obviously outdated for obvious reasons. And even though Charles Johnson's not the best person to say it, did you see his quotes from the interview he did last week? He made a fantastic point about how, like, he's felt like he was getting robbed of the UFC experience because, what is it, 6 of 7 fights now? Only his debut was in London. All the other ones have been in the Apex. Can't even get his wife in, like, to sit front row. again, like I said, he's not maybe the best person to speak this out there, but I'm glad that somebody did. And he did deliver and won the fight, so that helped because he would have got cut otherwise, which a lot of people brought up. Why is he saying this? He should be lucky he's on the roster, all this. But no, it's true, man. Like, you would never have imagined that pre-2020, like, potentially having your whole career in this box, this small box. It's really insane when you think about it that way, I thought.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, I'm with you. My biggest thing about the Apex is I do think it's it's robbing the fighters of having an experience of having a sold out crowd. Um, and fighters like, I mean, they're professional athletes that need a crowd to get them hyped. Like that's a lot of what fighting is. Um, but I see I see it both ways. Like, I don't think you could take the Leeds Avers Imavov and put it in many arenas and sell it out. Like the UFC would probably lose money with that. So
of course, I totally agree with that. But then it's like I gotta bring up Rosenstruik Almeida again. That's my one I go back to where,
and they probably lost money on that.
Yeah, Dana could be lying, of course, but like he says it like broke records for that shit and all. So,
but then again, my arguments like you probably could take it anywhere and it would sell out because people want to watch fights, right? So it's like I'm already poking holes in my shit. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough, but I mean, as long as people are watching the product, it's staying at the Apex, So
yeah, that's the problem. So if you guys want them to leave the Apex, stop watching the Apex shows. I'm telling you right now, stop watching MMA. Your life will be better off.
That's hilarious.
All right, let's get some comments in here. Ghost is here. Good to see you. How are you doing, man? Jin, talking on the topic here. I mentioned this a few weeks ago, but I think my opinion on middleweight having well-rounded fighters, but very flawed in the skill sets they are good at. Yeah, I mean, that just kind of continues to be a little bit showed in this one. Imavov and Delize maybe specifically. As Ghost says, I think middleweight is pretty good. You can't take away that Drake and Strickland did two great fighters, Whitaker and Izzy. Yeah, very true. It feels like, I don't know, not a momentum dependent division, but yeah, the matchups more than anything are just very different between fighter to fighter, which like he shows those ones and then kind of you compare them to other ones like when they fought each other, you just kind of get a lot of different like aesthetics, that's why it's so unique. I guess I can't be on board with the division because being bad if two fighters can beat Izzy and Whitaker. See, like that's a great point too, right? Like it's just a matter of, I guess, how they matched up and the result we got out of that. But I definitely don't think it's the worst it's ever been or the worst division in the UFC right now, but I get why people might feel that way. Mateus is here, says, I blame the matchmaking. The UFC mixing merit with promotional is causing people to sit for ages, fights that aren't enticing, not to mention injuries and contract situations. Yeah, matchmaking is always a big part of kind of any of these misconceptions, which was the thing last year, right? With them making some of those bookings, Costa and Alaskarov initially, right? Then, like I mentioned, Strickland and Imavov, which at the time made really no sense at all. Or not Imavov, the other one. Yes, that's the one I meant to mention. That was obviously the weirdest one of them all, and like a very blatant potential fast track attempt. So that kind of stuff. Excellent point there. Octagon updates. What is up, dude? How are you doing? Rio says, do you guys hear that Dan Tom is leaving podcasting and socials? Are you guys as saddened as I am because he is a great analyst, but even better person? I wish him all the best. He deserves a break too. Yes, he absolutely does, Dan. Shout out to him. He is for my money, the best analyst in media for MMA for sure. You could even argue overall, I think his stuff is that good. I haven't seen like the actual last episode or whatever yet. It looked to me like maybe he was leaving like Junkie and everything altogether. So I was like, oh no, that's a big bummer, but definitely deserves a break. And I've been there, so I understand where he's coming from. Obviously his, I think, is for different reasons, but yeah, it sucks. Dan Tom is the man, and we all do need a break sometimes. So
Dan's the man, and I hope he comes back with better view on this toxic MMA
Yeah.
place.
Hey, I mean, again, he can always just avoid the social media aspect, which I'm sure he'll feel better about that very quickly. So, Jin bringing up Roman Kopylov. He is very good at striking, but his striking defense is really bad. There's that. That's what I meant by having very decent fighters, but flawed in the skill sets. They're good at. Yeah, fair points, you guys. So, all right, keep them coming. Now we will get to our regularly scheduled lineup. So that means kicking things off with the maniacal moment of the week, Alex. I mean, despite the lackluster event that it was, there were still some good things to take away, I think. So specifically for you, what would you say was the maniacal moment? And again, it doesn't even have to be UFC Vegas 85, but what are you going with?
It's Moicano's post fight
Okay.
interview. It is just
that was hilarious. I was dying when he did that.
Yeah, being there live, like it was just fucking fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna go down as like a top 5, top 10 post fight interview of all time.
It would have if it was in front of a goddamn crowd.
True, it went without. It definitely would have been better, but I mean, even in the apex, it was still like it still hit. It still hit all the just everything. It just he makes it. It's like it's his broken English. It's him saying "fuck" every 3 seconds. Like it's just calling out his dad for having a baby at 62, saying he wants to be a SWAT and kill people. Like it's just it was fucking great, dude. And I do have a sense of humor of a 5-year-old sometimes, so like I give it to me, bro.
I hear you. I was definitely laughing plenty during that, and I saw people getting upset about that ending part to it, which was interesting to me. Didn't come off very political to me. Maybe I was just not reading too much into it. But.
I mean, he's saying America's turned to shit, and he. I mean.
Like what do you want to we won't get into that, I guess, but it was entertainment for sure. It was more entertaining than the fight, I'll say that much.
1000%. Yeah, I mean it was it was probably the most entertaining thing of the card, to be honest. I mean, if you really want to be honest, I mean,
overall, yeah, it was definitely up there. Well, I want to talk about him real quick. Actually, now that you mention it, just to springboard, like it's very interesting with Moicano because I feel like I don't know. I don't want to say he has regressed, right? Because he used to be a featherweight. He's had kind of a weird career. There is a slight argument I think you could make for him losing the fight. Like I scored it for him the same as the judges, as far as I know. Probably 1-3 was, if I'm remembering correctly. But I don't know, man. I just feel like the ceiling's not very high on him, which is a bummer because of how like silly he's gotten. I've seen people say Patty next. I think that's maybe perfect if you want to test him with an actual top 15 guy who can challenge him in the proper area, and then will banter. So.
Patty's a great fight. I think Beneil Dariush is a good one. Dan Hooker's a fun one. I see what you're saying. I do think he was out almost 2 years, so ring rust. And I think he got cracked by Dober.
Yeah,
like 3 times, pretty bad, like pretty fucking hard. And I think that might have just sent him into I have to grapple this guy or else I'm gonna get knocked out.
You saw it, 100%.
So he was in survival mode for probably the second and third round, like the entire time, right? So I think it's just a little bit of like he was in survival mode and there was ring rust. Do I think he's gonna be a champion? No, but I think he'll be a top 15 fighter for the rest of his UFC career. I mean, also, he has 33, so he's probably, I don't know if he's in his prime, maybe he's like in the middle of his prime, like who I don't really, it's hard to tell because he spent all of his years in 145 fighting top 15 fighters in featherweight, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think just the one big thing is he has to be out in front of a crowd for the rest of his career, right?
Yes, and I'm glad that he made comments about that before too. What did he? Was it at media day? What did he say? Like,
it was media day, post fight.
Nobody cares.
In his interview, and then he went on Ariel's show the day after. So
yeah, about the main event, he didn't care because it was at the
yeah,
Apex.
yeah.
Oh, love it. But all right, for my maniacal moment, I'm going fight specific this one because I don't know. I mean, you could choose the main event kind of just for the sequence there in the fourth round, but I'm going to give maniacal moment of the week to Randy Brown because he looked pretty goddamn good. I thought one of the performances of the night. Literally did get the performance of the night bonus. Went out there. I mean, just picture perfect finish on Muslim Salikov. Didn't quite see that one coming. I had a feeling that fight could probably be a finish, but didn't expect it to happen that way or that early. Randy kind of using he looked massive compared to him, Alex. I mean, he's always been a big dude, long guy, but he's really starting to, I think, utilize these physical skills that he has, and it showed off brilliantly in that performance. So 3 minutes and 17 seconds in, if you haven't seen Randy Brown's finish of Muslim Salikov, was pretty. And you didn't even need that follow-up shot, but one to shut him off again temporarily. It was nice. What did you think of Randy's performance?
Yeah, it was an awesome fight. I think everybody knew it was going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasted. And Randy Brown did what he's supposed to do. Like, the only knock on Randy Brown is, he beats everyone he's supposed to beat, and then when he gets that next step up, he loses. Yeah. Right. So he wants another shot at the top 15. And I mean, Muslim used to be a top ranked fighter, so I mean, I guess you could do it. I mean, I've seen some people saying fight Renat. I know he's called out Michael Chiesa. I think the Maverick would probably be a good fight for him. Yeah. It'd be good to get Randy into the rankings and then have Mike, defend his ranking and see if he still got it.
Yes, totally agree there. And man, fuck, we dropped the ball so hard here, Alex. Giving Ghost the love here, he nailed it. This is the maniacal moment of the week. Is the dude Charles Radke, who wanted to get paid for interviews and the press not asking him. So I am so happy you brought that up, Ghost, because I was gonna forget about it, as I still have only been awake for like 40 minutes right now. So Alex, I feel like that was interpreted completely wrong. You were in the room. Did you take it as that? Because I'm going back and watching it. It doesn't sound really that way to me. It doesn't sound like he was asking to be paid for interviews specifically.
I don't know. Like, I was back there and I still don't know fucking what he meant. I don't know if he's saying, you guys pay me for this interview, or I just want to get paid because I want to go eat pizza. I know, like, when he got there, he said, all right, let's make this quick. I want to go eat pizza. Yeah. Like, that was the first thing he said. So, like, he was already in a kind of a mode. Mm-hmm. The thing why, knowing after nobody asked him any questions is we didn't hear his post-fight interview because we were talking with the fighter before him back there. So we didn't hear what he said. And also, like, he's just not that interesting. Like, no. I could not.
He's just a dickhead.
Yeah, he's like, and I know, like, that's part of his character. He had it when he was in CFC. Like, he's like plays the heel, like just a douchebag. But like, bro, like, there's nothing interesting about him. I mean, the only thing I was gonna ask him was like, where did Chuck Buffalo come from? Like, that's the only thing I wanted to ask him. But after, like, he was just like very quick to answer the questions. Like,
I guess it isn't worth it.
Yeah, like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, like there's nothing that I wanted to hear about. Like, later. Like,
yeah, see ya. All right, there you go. Give me what you want.
Yeah, but, I do. I mean, so I don't. To answer your question, I don't know if he was telling the media to pay him for this interview or if he was saying, because I really don't know what it is, and although he was sharing some stuff on his Instagram story, that kind of seems like that's what he was saying. Like, it was kind of, implied. Like, Yeah, so I honestly don't know, and I don't give a fuck.
Because no one's doing that.
Yeah, I don't care.
That's a
Because
UFC
no
problem,
one.
pal.
Yeah, I don't care. And if you're paying for interviews as a journalist, good for you, bro.
And you're also not a journalist, but that's
Yeah.
a whole nother topic. Yeah, but surprising amount of kind of backlash from that, because it's more confusing to me than anything. So, and then if you do get the proper read on it, I guess then it's pretty easy to tackle. So
Also,
I
like, why are you getting bent out of shape against Charles Radke?
yeah, like
Really?
let's chill.
Is that one fighter you're gonna fucking cry about? Who gives a fuck? Well, let's keep going.
Let's live with our lives, please. Yeah. Alvin is here. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I hope this message finds you well. Appreciate it. I wasn't able to catch the movies for the movie club, but I am excited to see your opinions. Yes, we are excited to talk about them, as well as it is Oscar season full swing, Alvin. So we will let you know how things are looking in that regard. Susan also here. Good to see you. Says I'm a bit behind on the stream, but I'd bet my house Paris would sell out their 20K arena in roughly 5 hours for Dalid Zaimov. Only taking that long because the site crashed. My goodness. Bold. Well, I don't know how bold it is. Pretty bold, but Imavov has the France ties, right? So I think that's the big.
I mean, you could no. I take that back. You could definitely go to Paris, or you can go to France, and Imanov would sell
She
somewhere.
gotcha. She gotcha.
Yeah. All right. I rescind my.
Concede.
Yeah. I okay. I'll take the L.
All right. On that note, we will move along to the underrated moment of the week, which I do think there's some good options for this one. Two, maybe a very obvious one, and maybe you could argue it's not the underrated moment of the week, at least mine, but I'm going with Molly McCann's performance. Alex, is that the one you'd go with as well?
Probably, yeah. More likely, it was either her or Timba. It's
Yeah,
one of the two. You know?
That's good. I'm glad you mentioned him. Let's talk about both of them, because yeah, Temba, like, my goodness. I'm gonna put the story aside, because the big thing with him is his story, which is totally justifiable. Shameless plug. Alex has an interview with him out on the channel now, so catch that after this. Yeah, I mean, the guy's good. Not a knockout artist whatsoever, but that was like his second knockout in his career. And honestly, his first UFC fights, they were like, all right, like they weren't the most exciting things. Didn't show any signs really of this, really more highlighted his grappling than anything. Then he goes out and just starts his homie. Perfect. Gets robbed, snubbed of a bonus, but that's life, I guess. You got a free house, bud.
Yeah.
You don't need this. That's Dana's thought. He wasn't there, so what am I talking about? Yeah, so good shouts to him. And then as for Molly, like, strawweight division, my goodness. I know, of course, not the greatest competition, had already beat Velveeta, no knock specifically on Diana, friend of us, of course, but good dipping the toe in kind of fight and rematch in the division, I think. And I mean, fuck, dude, that was her best performance, I think, of her career, probably. I mean, she looked really good, like a different fighter, pretty much. The fact that, was able to do what she did on the feet and then finish it with a pretty nasty armbar, maybe some ligament damage there. Overall, like, that was as good as it could have got for Molly, I think. Even better than like getting a quick knockout or something. So we got enough to kind of see the potential there, and it makes me very curious to see her against, to climb the ladder and face more higher ranked opponents and things of that nature. So I thought she looked great. Maybe you can't reban at that one. Both of them. Shouts to them.
Yeah, no, and it was nice to see. She gets submitted in her last two fights, then she goes out and gets a submission win. Like, it was just kind of like a fuck you. And plus, like, I really liked her attitude this week. Like,
yeah,
it's tough because, like, a lot of people know Molly is like the like friendly, like, party animal, loves the fans, but to see, like, it's almost like her soul went dark. Like, her soul went like completely black because of how much shit she got. Like, at her last two fights, she just got reamed on social media, reamed everywhere, and to see like how much that hurt her feelings, right? Like, dude, like, and then so she was like, yeah, fuck the fans, it's all about me. Like, I'm not gonna, it's like, I was like, damn, like, that's tough.
Yeah, good way to look at it, though. It's funny because in her post-fight interview, dude, when she started off with that way with the apology, I was like, "Oh, we know where this is going," and then she swerved us by being genuine.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought we were gonna get fucking the silly Connor quote, as just that's ingrained in our MMA souls now, right? But
yeah,
she went in a very different division and just apologizing for kind of being slow with getting to this point, which is fascinating. Yeah, she's really approaching all of this, I think, in a great way. And how she's even talking about just cutting back on drinking. Like, maybe I'll have one beer to celebrate. Like,
yeah,
really getting serious about this, which, that's if this is what we're going to get out of it, I mean, that's potentially going to be amazing for her career. So I think she's a good addition to strawweight if that's anything to go off of. So
for sure.
gonna be interesting to watch. And Jen says, I think it's Bang Tao training in Thailand for the meatball. I didn't know that she went over there to do some, if that is correct. So yeah, that never hurts. I'm curious how quickly we see her back too, because of all that. So yeah. But we will move along now from the underrated moment of the week to this upcoming week. Mania mainline time. What we are most looking forward to, what we're injecting into the veins, Alex. What gets you most excited about this week? Which not a lot for me, but how are you feeling?
I mean, on paper, I like some of it. I actually like some of it because there's a lot of prospects on here, like fighters from last season's Contender Series that are making their debuts, and they're fun fighters, very fun fighters, fun matchups. Um, and with that being said, I think the three fights I'm actually looking the most forward to is, and I'm going to like double dip because Hyder Mill is going to be one of my prospects. So I'll talk to him about in a little bit. Brad Tavares versus RoboCop. That's going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasts. Brad Tavares, you can make an argument he's the middleweight gatekeeper.
The goalkeeper.
So this is RoboCop's path into the top 15 if he were to win. But I mean, Brad Tavares is super tough, and he's hard. He's hard to beat. So there's that. I mean, it's Michael Johnson fight week, bro. Like, yeah. I mean, the best worst fighter of all time. So, and I think this
what
is
a label to have.
Yeah. And this is one of those matchups where he should 1,000,000%. 1,000,000. He should win this fight. No, there's no fucking doubt about it. He should win this fight. But it's one of those fights where he could definitely fucking lose. Like he should win. There's no reason he should not. He should lose this fight. I mean, bro, come on. But he could lose this fight.
Would that be it if he does? Do you think he'd finally call it?
I mean, if you lose to Darius Flowers, probably. But I mean, who knows? Dan Ige versus Andre Felix going to be fun.
Yeah. Always great.
Jeremiah Wells versus Max Griffin is fun, but it's buried on the prelims for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then there's Carlos Preites, Bolaji Oki's fucking fun fighting. Yeah, so it's just there's a lot of prospects from the Contender Series that are going to be fun fights.
Yes, it is definitely very Contender Series heavy, and this is a 14 fight card too, which it's a big one. It's a big one there, so gonna be in store for hopefully a quick pace tonight. Yeah, I mean, you make me feel better about it. That's why I wanted you to go first. So I'll ether and project all that out there, but just off the top going into this, I was like, just Loma coming back, I guess, for me. Loma versus Bruno Brazil at strawweight, of course, our only ladies fight of this card. And Loma, of course, always very entertaining. Hasn't fought in a year, kind of crazy, and curious to hear if there's any story behind that or injuries she had lingering, as she is on a 2-fight winning streak, last beating Elise Reed February of last year. So almost nearly away for an entire year. It will just be shy 2 days. But Bruno Brazil obviously on the come up. You talk about the prospects, right? She got in through Contender Series as well, beating Marnik Mann. who also found a way to UFC, didn't she? Short notice at Noche when we were there for that. So yeah, I mean, Loma's still trying to climb. It seems like right now for her, just that consistent activity has been a problem, as she's only fought once once each year since 2021. But she's always a great time. We know some of the best Muay Thai out there. So that's my injection. That's it, really. Last week just really hurt me internally. So hopefully this one is this show is awesome, but I'm ready for next week. Let's put it that way. Very ready for that.
So who do you got in the main event?
So yes, let's tackle the main event now. Joe Pyfer Hermansson, which really I don't think it's terrible. I just feel like my whole thing about this is I think that Hermansson's on the way out. I feel like he's, if anything, to go by in, obviously his last couple performances, like against Strickland, we're going back a little bit here now, right? Because that was 2022, February, so 2 years ago. My goodness. He did all right. I was very stunned to see him not go to his grappling more in that fight really at all. I don't remember like a single takedown attempt. Maybe it was a pretty fun like back and forth scrap on the feet that he just kind of was a step behind on throughout, but still almost got it a split. One judge did give him the fight, which I remember that was not a good thing, not accurate. Then after that goes to fight Chris Curtis, which is kind of funny, that going from those two guys back to back. That was the one where Curtis was like really pissed at him right there. Whatever happened, that fight was kind of meh. He's just kind of gotten away from his grappling, which was the big thing that got him to this spot in the first place. At least I thought. You look at the Jacare wins, of course, the Kelvin win against Dolidze last time out, got finished. And how old do we have Jack Hermansson here? He is 35. So yeah, like I think the division and kind of the guys who have passed him by, that's just going to kind of keep coming. And this is a very possible moment of proving that, because Joe Pyfer, obviously, you said Contender Series guys. Here we go. He's one of the Contender Series guys coming up here. He's looked absolutely excellent in the UFC so far. And of course, this is his biggest step up yet so far. But I just feel like all attributes are in his favor right now. Maybe not, pure technical submission abilities, jiu-jitsu in that regard. You can argue maybe wrestling there, but if there's only one advantage I could give to Hermansson, it might be that. I just think it's this is an era, not era, I don't want to say era, but kind of changing of the guard type of fight with the middleweight fluctuation of contenders coming in. So I just think for the most part, Piper's probably going to dominate him with just his strength and physicality, testing himself maybe with the wrestling a little bit, like we saw in the last fight. Throw Hermansson around a bit and pound him out maybe end of the second or third round. But I feel pretty confident that he's going to win this one.
Yeah, I see this fight going one of two ways. I think Piper's going to do to Hermansson exactly what Jared Cannonier did to him, just beat him up and knock him out in the second round. Or Hermansson's going to use his length, his range, and just kind of outpoint Pyfer. We haven't seen Joe Pyfer go 5 rounds in the UFC.
True.
We have seen Hermansson do that. We've seen him go 5 rounds in boring fucking fights, like his fight with Jacare.
Yeah, no cardio issues with him.
Yeah, so he can go.
Yeah, which might not be good.
Yeah, so that's the big. Yeah, exactly. So that's the biggest question I have is if can Pyfer do that? I kind of think he can. I don't know if he went 5 rounds in CFFC. I have to go back and double check. But I think this is a tailor-made matchup for Pyfer, and I think the UFC knows exactly what they're doing, and he's probably going to knock Jack Hermansson out and take his number 11. I think he's ranked number 11. He's going to take his number 11th ranking, maybe even jump to top 10, and that's a fast track.
Yep. But at the same time, like it doesn't feel bad though, right? Like,
I mean, no, it doesn't, because Dana knew what he was doing the first episode of Contender Series when Piper, he said, be Joe Piper.
Yeah.
That's all he had to do, and he had the rocket ship strapped to his back. I will say, he's had, besides the Abdul Razak Al Hassan matchup, Piper's beat a bunch of not UFC caliber fighters
Right.
anymore. So, the Razak Al Hassan win is a good one in hindsight. Like it's he's might not be the most best fighter, but he's a very dangerous fighter,
Yeah,
right?
and been around for a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that's a good win, but Hermanson is tiers above these other guys, right? And he's just a tough out. And I think Hermanson's probably gonna have something to prove, right? So a motivated Hermanson, who knows how dangerous he can be? Maybe who knows? But
he needs to fight to his strength, really. Like again,
he'd be very dumb if he doesn't. Because if he gets down there and try and strike with Piper, he's going to get his head knocked off his shoulders. So to answer your question, it does make sense. It's like you can make argument. There's some middleweights that probably deserve this a little bit more than Piper at this point, but
yeah.
Piper's, you fight who you're given, and he was given Hermanson, and you go do it, bro.
Exactly. But we should point this out, though, Alex, because Hermanson has developed one of those lovely, fun alternator patterns going on with his wins and losses, right? Going back to the Cannonier fight, like you said, he's won and lost. Won, lost one every single time since then. So he is 3-4 in his last 7. But starting with that one, no losses have come back to back, so he's due for the upset win here, actually. So
yeah,
you muted yourself.
Yeah, I always look at those and I'm like, do I bet the house on Hermanson because of those weird weird streaks? But then again, Roxanne Modafferi did that and broke my.
Yeah, I know. It's like once you actually commit to it, then it fucks you up. So sorry, Jack. We're not betting the house on your chances there, buddy. But what we are betting the house on is the future, Alex, to Spotlight Bill.
Look at that transition, bro.
Segue, baby. The prospects that we are looking forward to highlighting this week. Lay them on us. You gave us a spoiler there with one of them.
Yeah, one of them is Hyder and Mill. I've been a Hyder and Mill fanboy for a minute now. He's must-watch television. He comes from the Scrap Pack. He is a Gilbert Melendez trained fighter, and with that, that's all you really need to know, man. He comes forward. He fought a very good wrestler on the Contender Series, and if you watch that fight, bro, like that was a dog performance because he was dead fucking tired, and he's found a way to win, pull it out. Which was interesting because most of the time, he was built for that show because he's so fun to watch, but it just showed how much heart he has. 33 years old, so he's got to get going. But when I tell you, dude, he is a fun fighter to watch. And he's fighting for Nick Garcia, who's stepping in on short notice. I don't think we're going to see any grappling in this fight. They're just going to swing and bang until someone goes down. So it's a fun fight. Outside the UFC, Anho is fighting at LFA 176. I think him and Louis Goulet are the 2 best flyweight prospects in the world right now. Dude, he's fun fighting out of the MMA lab in Arizona. He's from Vietnam, so he's got that like going for him.
Right.
And he's knockout artist. He's fun to watch. You're gonna see Anho's name in the UFC very soon.
All right, love to hear it. And yeah, representing Vietnam. Never really heard of any Vietnamese fighters, so he's leading the charge for that. I really always love those stories. So when somebody can be the first for their country is always kind of fun. So see if he can do it, because I think if he does get the UFC, like after the fight, he'd be the first, right? I would. I can't think of any other Vietnamese fighters off the top of my head. If there have been, they didn't do very well. So
let's see, Vietnam, UFC fighters. Kung Lee.
Oh yeah! Wow, shame on us.
Duh.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, duh. Yeah, but I mean, just another Vietnamese fighter coming to UFC. Like that's if the UFC wants to cater to their Asian audience, which I don't know if they know how to do because they have a Chinese fighter, they have a Chinese #1 contender, but they won't go to China. But yeah, On Ho is he almost got to the Contender Series last year, but I believe he was told to get a little bit more experience because at that time he was like 4-0. So he gets his win to be 6-0. Hopefully, I would hope he gets one more fight before Contender Series. But if he goes out there, starts this guy, he's gonna be on the Contender Series. Yeah. So
this is a funny question, which I just want to throw out here because Mario Abbott, good to see you, says, "How do you watch LFA without buying Fight Pass?" I'm not sure you can. Is there?
You
support the prospects, damn it.
I mean, there's a couple of streaming services that are illegal that you can use. DM me. I'll hook you up, bro.
That's hilarious. Capote. I mean, yeah, if you wanted to see the highlights, definitely.
Yeah.
Just follow Capote anyway, but yeah, shouts to him. All right. So as for the ladies' side of the prospects to spotlight Phil this week, honestly, again, we're kind of in similar territories to last week, right? And in this case, at least we have one with Bruna Brazil, who is going to be the prospect. But I'm not really, super high on her, to be fully honest. But again, we're taking our picks here. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, hasn't fought the greatest of competition, at the Marnik Man head kick, which was great performance-wise, but Marnik Man, Alex definitely was not very high on.
No, not at all. How did she make it to the UFC? Tell me this.
Got in the UFC off of that one. And then, Marnik Man they needed a body, I guess, for Josephine Knudsen. But comes on in, loses Denise Gomez. No shame in that one, but I don't think we really knew the talent level of where Gomez was at that fight. Got finished, then kind of takes a step back, sets back the other prospect of Shauna Bannon to get her first win in July there. Good, solid performance, but nothing too crazy. Bruna Brazil, 30 now. Great nickname, the special one. Relatively well-rounded. Can kind of, take the fights wherever, but doesn't blow me away exactly anywhere. Got more submissions than knockout ability. Tough matchup here with Loma in the striking department, of course, for most, but should potentially have the size on her. Well, should have it, of course, because Loma pretty small, 5'6" versus 1-ish 5'2". If she can just kind of use more of her, again, we go back to the physicality talk. This could be potentially a big win for her. A good name to get on her resume. Kind of feels like a jump going from, Shauna Bannon to then Loma off a win. But again, Loma's been gone, and as who said it here? Let me give. Jin said Loma had an injured elbow and needed surgery after the Reed fight, so that's why she has been out for the year. So makes sense. But yeah, I mean, this will tell us a lot about the potential of Bruna Brazil, I think. And even then, not enough because, again, Loma's an atomweight at strawweight. So I'm always going to bring that up because it's valid. So sorry, guys. I'm sure it gets fucking annoying for those of you who have been following my shows for the past 3 years since Loma's been in the UFC. But we're taking who's available this week. So, maybe she'll surprise us, but
Yikes.
Rio says, took this from Rain from Dana from Dan's last Protect Your Neck show. Is Knudsen versus Cornole content creator stream for fun? That one's good. I mean, Cornole and Whoever she's fighting next, I'm forgetting the name. I remember it was good though. Do you remember who Nora's fighting?
Couldn't tell you.
There was some good pun action there for that one. But something's happening with your audio though, real quick, Alex. Before we shift, you got really loud all of a sudden, and then.
I don't know. I will.
Okay. He said he's gonna adjust. So I will look at. Give me some questions here before we get to the movie club, you guys. Monkey in a suit. I love the name and the picture, everything there with the aesthetic. What is up? Good deal. All right.
Hello.
All right, there. That was better. Yeah, it sounded like your mic went off or something.
Oh.
But that's good. That's it. Melissa Dixon. Thank you, Octagon Updates. Dixon Cornell. That's fucking great. I'm sorry.
That's good.
That's maybe not quite Bang and Kuntz, but it's up there. I saw people saying that.
Dixon Cornell. That's fantastic.
That's really good.
Bravo.
Yes, good job. Shelby was just Shelby and Maynard were having fun with that one.
Yeah, you get the golf clap on that.
Yes, indeed. But all right, speaking of golf claps, let's get to the Trailex Movie Club for Oscar season, you guys. Spoilers included. Big emphasis on spoilers since these are new movies we're talking about, of course. The nominees. We are watching all the Oscar nominees if you missed last week. So catching up, try and line it up before the actual Oscar show, which actually after doing this first one with the double movies, Alex, I think, we're going to be just fine getting all of these because now I've watched 4, you've watched 5. So you're going to end up beating me towards the end here, which is just fine. But this week, you guys, we both watched Maestro for the first time. Alex had already seen Barbie, so I watched Barbie. I had already seen Holdovers, so he watched Holdovers. So now we are all lined up, except I have to watch Killers of the Flower Moon, which is the one he's got ahead of me on. So let's start off with our double watch, first time watch with Maestro, which I watched last night and kept me up late. Bradley Cooper. The story of Leonard Bernstein, who I had no idea who he was until this movie.
All right, I'm gonna keep. All right, we're reviewing 2 movies. I'm gonna keep this very short, and so it's not a fucking hour and a half podcast. This movie
I don't have much notes either.
Yeah, this movie was Oscar bait written all over it. It was fucking dull. It's a movie we've seen 1,000 times about a tortured soul. That's a genius. That's having problems, and I could not give a fuck about this movie. I don't care. I don't know how it got nominated for Best Picture. It's because Hollywood like to jack fucking famous musicians off and famous Hollywood people off. Like, it just fucking dog shit. The cinematography was great. Bradley Cooper was okay. I mean, Maggie, Carey Mulligan, she was the best. She was the best part of the movie by far. Yeah, it was just a dull movie. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. This shit sucked. I don't give a fuck. It's a fucking 5 out of 10. I'm offended. It's a Best Picture.
Oh man, I love it. I love the hostility. This is what we get. What we need out of the Oscar season, you guys. And oh man,
I was pissed off. I had to fucking watch it. It was like,
I was not not interested either going in. But I agree with you. Most with the rating, I don't know if I disliked it that much, but yeah, it was so here was my biggest thing was like in the beginning, I thought it was really cool how that was shot, and it goes specifically with the black and white kind of past aspect of it. But that kind of gave you the sense, Alex, that immediately this movie's fucking pretentious as hell. They are sucking themselves off big time with this, and some of the elements were really cool, like how they did those transitions. I did like, but it felt very much like braggadocious with like, look at us pull off this and lead to something that's not really interesting. I think one of the most impressive things about it, Alex, really the makeup was fucking insane on Bradley Cooper. That was really well done. They should get the Oscar for the makeup department throughout the entire lifespan of Bernstein. And I did think that Bradley Cooper actually, I thought he did a very, very good job. Kind of, I noticed as the movie went on, it seemed like he wasn't breathing through his nose the whole time. It was kind of how he got that voice. And it really didn't quite seem like he was a real person. Like you think about just the character of Bernstein that he was, this didn't, it made the movie was very cartoonish feeling with kind of our two lead characters. Not that they didn't do bad, because like I said, Carey Mulligan was fantastic. Um, he was smoking like 85% of the time. That was a thing. That was a thing to highlight. But yeah, it just kind of your classic crumbling love story, tortured soul. Third act was long. Alex, I actually dozed off right before the massive like conducting scene. I actually fell asleep a little bit. So I missed whatever happened right before then, but it doesn't matter, I don't think. Yeah, this was my favorite scene was probably when the dialogue, specifically just the conversation when they were on the floor after they had sex for the first time. I thought that was a great scene, but incredibly forgettable movie that I will never watch again. A very 5 at best for sure.
Yeah. I don't. The only reason it's nominated for Best Picture is Hollywood likes a fucking famous actor, famous
Right.
musician biopic. Like it's just fucking dog shit, bro.
Yeah,
Like
it's crazy. And it's funny too, because I was like looking at the reviews and like they don't even seem that crazy for it either. Like on IMDb specifically, this is like a 6.6, which for the
it's Bradley Cooper being pretentious. It's just what it is. It's
showing that
just,
he can play this kind of person.
yeah, like I'm a great actor, but I can also direct. And I'll show you how to do it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't know. Like you go from A Star Is Born to this. It's just like he's probably like, dude, I fucking Star Wars was a great movie. Let me try and
Replicate something like
yeah,
that.
it didn't fucking.
No, it was weird kind
Yeah.
of everything, but
Yeah, it's people are only gonna remember it because it's gonna be on a top 10 worst Oscar bait movies of all time. Like it is what it is.
yeah. So really, I don't think too much more that we need to add to that. Gave it too much time already. Again, like honestly, if you guys do want to check out Maestro just because you're kind of doing a thing we're doing, I would just say like watch the first half, because the first half is the best part of the movie, probably, for I would say, just because of the pretentious aesthetics. I did think were pretty cool, the transitions and stuff and some of the dialogue of them meeting each other, but you feel it, you feel the length towards the end big time. And I thought it was going to be, it seemed like the ending was going to be right after he finished. It's just his fucking thing, but nope, it goes on for like another 35. I was like, I already fell asleep. So,
yeah, brutal.
Hopefully that's the worst of other ones we're going to watch, Alex. But now let's go on over to holdovers. We're getting comments from people in there. And of course, I'm very excited to hear what you think about it, because you said you're not an Alexander Payne guy, but has he turned you? What did you think? I fucking love this movie. It was one of my favorites of last year. Let me know, Alex. Are we on the same page?
Yeah, I'm still not an Alexander Payne fan, but this movie was great. It was fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, it was terrific, man. And after watching it, I think Paul Giamatti's got the Oscar locked up for Best Actor. It's everyone knows it's a two-man race between him and Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer.
Right.
They're two completely different performances.
Yes.
But I think they're gonna go with Paul Giamatti, give it to him for a lifetime achievement type of.
Mm-hmm.
But it was phenomenal, man. The story was good. It's just I don't.
It's a good Christmas movie, right?
It is. Yeah, it's just a good movie, and the supporting cast was good, story was good, the soundtrack was good, and I think Paul Giamatti, he's so well versed in just everything. He can play whatever he wants. And this, he's playing an asshole teacher. And I like just how the movie, you see him, stuck up,
yes,
do everything by the book, and by the end of the movie, he's let it loose, and he was infected. He was infected by the people he was around, right? Like they were telling him, like, dude, stop being a fucking asshole, like.
And that starts really like right away.
Yeah, right. So it was nice to see that, and yeah, it was just basically a feel good movie, right? And Dominic Sessa as Angus was just really really good as well.
His first role too. Did I tell you that? That was his.
No,
This
I
was
did
his
not.
first movie. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Killed
then
it.
he's gonna be a good one to watch for a minute. Did Giamatti fuck with his eye? No, it was a prosthetic eye. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and like Matea's saying, it's a heartwarming movie, and it's good. And I really do like the ending about Giamatti. He put his job on the line to save this kid, which is something he would not have done prior, and even that's why he got the holdovers jobs in to begin with, is because he let these kids fucking fail his class and not go, right? So, yeah, it was just a great movie, man. I really appreciated it, and yeah, I mean, I might check out the next Alexander Payne movie because of this.
There we go. We'll see. Look at that.
Yeah,
Payne
so
converted him.
So I'm gonna give it it's just like a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Yes, I really enjoyed this one, and I think for me, it's like it just perfectly captured, or like the story of one of those just asshole fucking dickhead teachers, like, and the reason, like the way, the more you find out about him, like, oh, this all makes so much sense, like it's just it's so greatly unraveled.
It's kind of like the complete opposite of Whiplash, like it's as if J.K. Simmons would have become a nicer person. It would have ended up like this, but instead he's like, no, fuck you.
Yes, exactly. As Alvin says, Mr. Giamatti was incredible here. The way he holds in repressed anger was sensational. The camera work was excellent here. Yeah, this one was a banger for sure. If you haven't seen it, big recommend. Bo Nichols, GOAT hater, or his number one hater, says GOAT. Yes, really good stuff. And all right, before we do move on to Barbie talk, I want to answer this question because Alvin did ask, what are our opinions on Bradley Cooper as an actor? His character in Burnt was very authentic and showed his leadership in the kitchen. So I never saw Burnt, but I've seen plenty of Bradley Cooper movies. Overall, I mean, I think he's clearly proven he's a good actor, Alex. Like,
yeah, he's great. He's an A-list actor. He's great. Yeah, there's nothing. I can't. I mean, it's almost annoying because he's too good. Like, he's good looking. He's picks great movies to do. Like, his voice is Rocky Raccoon's one of the best fucking voice actors. It's like,
right.
He's good. He's good. I hope he picks if he's gonna. And it's annoying because he's a good actor and he's a good director, and he's a good writer, right? So he's got the trifecta. He's good at everything. I just hope he picks his next another good.
Do something a little more fun, please.
Yeah, like fuck, like.
Yeah. I think you're probably spot on though. He's just like, I gotta let me get this one out of the way, Let me show I can do it, even though you didn't need to. Like, we knew you could, man.
So, it's fucking annoying.
Yeah, we will see. But
Barbie, how'd you like Barbie?
Let's talk about Barbie. I don't want to say pleasantly surprised because I did think it would be good, and we kind of briefly touched on it last week when we were off the air right afterward. But pleasantly surprised in the sense that this movie really is like it's pretty much a straight comedy, Alex. Like, of course, the message is very clear, and I love the message. I think it was great, and really, like, seeing all the shit and backlash about it during the time Barbenheimer came out, then I don't think it's warranted at all, because this movie's very on like each side of telling the men and women aspect of Barbie and that kind of stuff. So I really kind of want to rant off a little bit towards those idiots, but I'm gonna do my best to calm it back, keep it about the movie, because let me just say, if you were offended by this movie, you're a fucking I'll leave it at that. I won't even let it out. But if you,
You're a
this,
fucking
this,
snowflake.
there we go.
Fucking, you're a snowflake douche.
Yeah,
Fucking
like
fuckhead.
this is just a great old fun time, and I honestly I laughed so much more than I expected to. This was great. Barbie is a great fucking movie. The atmosphere of the world, super fun. You want to go from what we were talking about last week with, you know, the Edward Scissorhands atmospheres and Tim Burton and that type of stuff. Greta Gerwig absolutely fucking smashed it with this one, which we kind of knew because you said they put so much time and money into building this Barbie world, and it feels like it is. Yeah. So the atmosphere was great.
Let me cut you off real quick before you get going. This is like the thing I wanted to talk to you about
Okay.
last week. The thing that ruined them, like it didn't ruin the movie, but like the thing was like that was blatantly like I hated Will Ferrell's character. I thought it was
Really?
I thought it was just it was garbage. Like it ruined everything. And I understand what they were going for to being like the doesn't like a billionaire that doesn't know what's going around, like going on, and like he's being oblivious to everything. But it was just like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like even in a very like corny movie,
Yeah.
he was just like over the fucking top. And I get it's Will Ferrell, but like, oh god,
I had a feeling who you were gonna say.
I hated everything about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't actually in the movie as enough, like him and that whole aspect for me to feel that same way about you. But I get it. I do get it because that was kind of the thing here was obviously, you know, it's the Barbie land world versus the real world. And they get out of the real world, and I'm kind of expecting it to be serious in there. And it is for the most part, but there are a lot of elements that show, okay, they're still keeping this a goofy movie. Like fucking when the guy comes up and slaps Barbie's ass, you're like, all right, that's just not going to happen. Even though, you know, like there were some things, the cops kind of doing their jokes when they arrest him and all that, which of course is, I got to highlight the little things that Adam Ray, comedian, was one of the cops, funny guy. Yeah, but then once it like goes into the Mattel building and it's like the Barbie world, you know, like to that extremes of kind of a wacky, unrealistic place. They're cubicle cubes that they're like stuck in, and then the like top floor with the board meeting room and all that shit. So yeah, but the silliness of the world is overall provided so many subtle laughs, especially like right out of the gate. Like the beach off was unexpected and hilarious. Alex, the Kens are gonna beach each other off. Like there's not gonna be any beaching off here, okay? Like a lot of things like that. Like I don't remember, like, I mean, there wasn't any. There was so many. I'm glad that there's so many little jokes that you could have kind of taken out of this. Whereas rather than, you know, some moments you're like, oh, that was kind of the best part. But there were so many different times where I was laughing at just almost like everything. And I got to give props to Ryan Gosling because Ken, like, he fucking nailed it so absolutely hard. Just like his mannerisms, the way that he reacted to everything, like he was so goddamn funny. Like easily the star who kind of steals the screen every time he's on it, which again, people can complain about that. I'm sure they have, but like he's really good at what he does. Okay. Like within 10 minutes, you can feel him stealing the movie. Just with his reactions alone. So very good. I really thought the utilization of the music was really fun as like the inner monologue at the beginning, you know, kind of playing along where it feels like it's in the background, but it's describing kind of what's happening or how Barbie's feeling and that kind of stuff. Kind of the Matrix element to this is really fucking great. I loved that. And that scene was fucking hilarious too. I forgot about that till it just hit me right there. But where she's choosing reality versus Barbie Land, that was great. Yeah, and like I said, really loved the message. I do think it was a good one, an important one, all that stuff. But still, I don't think it really was like being annoying about it or anything. Margot Robbie, let's talk about this real quick because that's obviously the thing, right? She got snubbed. She's not nominated, all that. I think she was really good. I do think she was really good. I think she got better as the movie went on, which is just kind of, I think, the way the story is told. But I'm fine with her not getting nominated. Because Barbie really is just a little plastic and Barbie. Like it wasn't the greatest character or anything. Again, she did a great job at it. Was a great choice, but I don't know. It was kind of like a slow burn with her performance. Did you feel the same way? Like she was good, of course, but I don't know.
Yeah, and America Ferrera got the nomination for supporting actress, right?
Yeah,
And the only reason she got that is because of that monologue. And I think if Margot Robbie would have had that monologue,
she would have.
she would have got nominated, right? So, um, yeah, I mean, Ken got nominated, but you could see why he got nominated, right? Like,
So good.
it's a there was layers to his character, right? Like
Yeah.
Barbie, yeah, she went through things, like, but it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't a Oscar performance in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, Greta Gerwig also got snubbed for best director. That's
Yes.
the one where it's like, at that one I could see the outrage for it.
So let me cut you off real quick because that was kind of the biggest thing by the end of the movie for me was just like this was first of all I'm stunned. I'm pretty stunned because of how comedy this was, like pure comedy of a movie it was for it to get nominated at all, right? Like that, I get why they did because of the message that it has, but like you don't see that very often. Like this is a straight up fucking comedy movie, like
Which you don't
and
see anymore.
no. So that's like wild, and I'm kind of glad in that regard. But it's such a different movie for Greta Gerwig too, for it to be this pure of a comedy. Like she's great at doing comedy if you've watched any of her stuff, others, and like injecting it into for the types of movies that she generally does. But big props to her for fucking nailing like a pure comedy like this. Like she
I mean, and
definitely deserves it.
also to add on to that, to making a good Barbie movie, right?
Yes,
Like
yes,
a movie that grossed $1 billion, but also like a movie that like men liked the movie, right?
right.
Like you would think a Barbie movie, only females are going to go watch this movie and
Yeah,
like it, but like to make it a good movie that anybody can watch and anybody can appreciate, like, not a girlfriend or a wife dragging you along. Oh, let's go watch Barbie. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Like
exactly.
it was a good movie, and I do think I haven't seen Zone of Interest yet, but from
No,
everyone I've listened to, they think that guy should have been out, and
swap them.
Gerwig, swap him. So I'll have a better opinion on that when we watch it. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think it was just to make $1 billion Barbie movie, which obviously Barbie's a humongous IP, but to make it a good movie, right? Like that's the big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of crazy too to me when I was thinking about it, like, oh, I'm a little bit surprised that Mattel kind of allowed it because really it doesn't make them look great. It doesn't make
Right.
them as a company look great. I mean, I guess makes them look better now for allowing and letting it happen. But yeah, it was good. I think a very comfortable 8, which is great for, like I said, a comedy movie like this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will happily watch it again. It has great rewatchability. So yeah, nothing too bad to say about Barbie. What is there was a comment here. Mateo says I agree. Will Ferrell took away from other aspects unnecessarily. Could have been better casting. Would you
Yeah.
agree? It's just the casting or the character
Without,
specifically?
if it would have been anybody else, other than like Melissa McCarthy or like someone like big, like, oh my god,
Over the
what
top
Barbie
character.
land, Barbie land, oh yeah, and it's like, bro, like I know it's a Barbie movie and we're watching fucking Barbie and Ken, but like, dude, like it's just, I just, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. He also agrees Greta deserved a nomination. Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, can't win them all. Maybe she'll win Best Picture. Wouldn't that be something? That
Nope,
would get a lot of
that's
outrage.
going to Oppenheimer.
Yeah. I feel like that's pretty likely and deserved anyway. So, yes. Can't wait. We'll talk more about that, of course, in depth once we get to the next ones. But Alex, we got to decide now what we are watching this week. I got the list up. Poor Things is the one I want to see most. Well, let's see. Poor Things and American Fiction. Let's do those. Those are the top of my list that we haven't got
Well,
yet.
it's tough. Like Poor Things isn't being, you can't stream it anywhere yet.
Have to go
And then
find our theater.
I mean, I looked. It's not playing in any Vegas theaters anywhere.
Damn.
So, I mean, if you want, I mean, you can go. You can go.
Right.
I can catch another time. American Fiction is available for $20 on Amazon Prime. Let's see, Anatomy of a Fall is available on Prime and YouTube for $5.
Okay.
Past Lives is available on Showtime, but nowhere else. Oh, yeah, no Voodoo for $3.99, and then Zone of Interest isn't available yet. So
okay, so let's try and leave Zone of Interest for I guess the last week. Maybe Zone of Interest and Poor Things is it's just building my anticipation. I want to see that one so bad. But
I mean, if it's playing here, you go watch it. You know,
yeah, I will definitely check on that. But yeah, so maybe we'll swap throughout the week if I do end up doing that. But if American Fiction's $20, I'll probably see it in theater anyway. So let's do those top ones: American Fiction and Anatomy of a Fall, I'd say. So and again, I've heard absolutely nothing but good things about American Fiction. I think that will be right up our alley. If you guys have seen it already, let us know. If not, get in on the club. Oscar season. Looking forward to it. So. All right. On that note, we will get to your questions here to close things out right proper quick. Even though you've given us a lot today, you guys, we appreciate the interactions always. So let's check them out. Mateus asking, is MMA toxic or is Dana taking it there for quick cash? Ooh, very interesting question, because obviously Dana last week, saga of calling out MMA Fighting's Guilherme Cruz. He throws a lot of toxicity out there, but at the same time, I don't think this is an or question, Alex. I think a little bit of both. Or unless you're meaning from the aspect of the fighting specifically, and like what we've gotten with Colby and Leon and then Strickland and DDP. I think those were organic in the sense of look who we're dealing with. If it was like some random flyweights talking mad shit like that, they'd be like, this is a little bit weird, but in that sense, what we've gotten in that regard, I think organic, Alex. Obviously, the community, fans, always been terrible and just ramping up as time goes on, I guess.
yeah, it's the most toxic it's been since I ever remember. So, yeah, I mean, MMA. I mean, it's fighting, right? Like things are going to be said. So, I mean, like toxic and fighting is kind of like a synergy type of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just different. There's different degrees of toxic.
Yes, for sure. Caleb B, what is up? Appreciate you. Thank you. I've been here a few times, but do you guys think that Themba should have gotten his bonus? His story is very interesting. I mean, what, 32-second knockout, Alex? I mean, anytime you're under a minute.
Yeah, and like I understand Molly is a bigger name, got the submission, but I mean, that was a softball matchup. Also, I mean, P. Rodriguez isn't a killer either, but like,
right. They could have not done a fight of the night bonus that card easily. Like the one they gave it to was fine, but you could have done 4 performances, I think. So, yeah. Jin says, so JHK on the All-Star did a segment on fake news, but never admitted that he fell for the meme tweet on 65 and 75 belt for UFC 300. Instead, he blamed Dana for the BSD fight pressure news. I guess my question is, who needs to be better, the media, JHK getting news from his memes, or the promotion breaking fight news that haven't been finalized? I think 100% the second part there. The promotion should not be breaking fights that haven't been finalized. That's very clear, easy business practice. Don't do that in many regards for the fans, for the athletes themselves. Of course, people need to be better where they're getting their media from as well, 100%. But that doesn't happen without the second part of this question, right? Like, I think that's pretty fair and easy to say. How do you feel about all that?
Yeah. I mean, the whole,
it's a two-way street to an extent.
Yeah, 1000%. I mean, yeah,
like you mentioned all those Instagram accounts last week, like fucking don't look at those guys.
Yeah, if you're looking at fucking full violence for MMA news or MMA uncensored for fight news, I mean,
Yeah, you should.
their Instagram accounts for a reason. Like
Yes.
if you want news, go to a news source that is a news outlet.
Yep. It's kind of in the title. It's in the name, the description there. Just read. Mario asks, why is UFC 300? Why is UFC 300 so weak? UFC 299 and 298 are both better UFC 300s filled with washed fighters, mid-talent, or matchups of foregone conclusions. Well, I just first of all disagree with you, Mario. I think
Mario, that's
great.
Come on, dog.
Big hating.
Yeah.
300 is
first
better
of all,
than 298, I think.
1000%. And 299, I was talking to another media member. UFC 299 has the top 6 fights are phenomenal, but after that, I mean, it kind of
Top heavy.
Very top heavy. UFC 300, there's the only reason people are fucking bitching about it is because we wanted 7 title fights, Ronda Rousey, Nick Diaz, GSP all to fight on the card. Like, bro, it ain't gonna fucking happen. Like, like we put unrealistic expectations, and I did too. Like, I made fantasy cards. It's everyone's wrongdoing. Like, we all did it to ourselves. And then, but to look at the card, it's 10 former fucking champions, 10 former or current champions. Like what? Like, do you want the fucking gimmick fights that everybody fucking cries about? Like it's a fucking gimmick fight. Like you have both fucking former champions. Like, fuck, I swear to God, dude.
There's no winning. There's no winning.
No, it's not. There's nothing people can do. I mean, and then even if you did those big fucking fights, people are like, oh my God. Just like,
yeah, just enjoy what we're getting, guys.
we wanted technical fights for UFC 300, and then also people are saying that UFC 100 and UFC 200 are better than 300. Go look at those fucking cards. Go look at those cards. Go look at them. Go look at them right now. Go fucking stop, pause this show. Go look at those fucking cards and tell me UFC 100 200 are better than 300. Come on.
I love it. Well, that's a great one for the comments. So drop them after we're done here for sure, or get them in right now as we finish up. But Rio asks, isn't this sad? The WMA Mania boys and the Protect Your Neck boys are now in ashes now that both shows are gone. But we're still here right now. I'm still here. So,
rest in peace.
R.I.P. to the shows, even though Dan did not sound like he was saying he was getting rid of it fully, unless I missed something. So, hey, no, don't put that out there, you guys. But all right, James giving us the shameless plug ability here. As he says, saw the Uriah Faber interview that I did last week. That is out now on MMAnia.com. Here on the YouTube channel, you can watch it. I think he's blowing up smoke to Yan Xiaonan and giving her false confidence. Don't you think that Xiaonan is like the Carolina of this era? She'll never be as good as Weili. Well, first of all, he's her coach, so that's pretty much all that needs to be said. I don't think there's anything to add on to that, James, but the Carolina of this current era. No,
I think that's actually kind of a good comparison. She wasn't Joanna.
yeah. That's not bad. I mean, I was thinking that she's better than Carolina at like their very best, but I mean, they did fight too, but different there. Yeah, that's actually solid. That's solid. As much as I love Xiaonan, and these guys are gonna fucking always pick at me with that, but I love them both. But like, come on now. Mario says, why not put these bad Apex events in the same week as the UFC pay-per-views? I get that the UFC is contracted to make content, but my idea would be a good solution to get people excited for both pay-per-view and fight nights. So that is a very, very interesting question, Alex. Doubling up. Well, they wouldn't. They sure as shit shouldn't be as long as they are now. 14 fight cards have to be smaller. I saw somebody ask the question on the MMA Fighting post-fight show this past week about like, yeah, if that might have been even you, Mario, but like 5 to 6 fight nights, like during the week, like something a little bit smaller, more digestible would maybe make these like feel better. And this is a very unique idea he's got. I don't think I'd hate it if they were smaller. If it's like a full ass card, I don't know about that. That's kind of like a lot for like maybe a short span of time. But that's a very interesting idea, Alex. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Is that too much?
It's just it's too much fighting. It's it's just Saturday. I mean, I wouldn't like a I would like a Friday card like that. That would be dope. Like change up the day from Saturdays, but like yeah, we've gone through the 3 cards a week, two cards a week kind
Yeah.
of
That was when Alvarez was that the 200 fight week even when Alvarez and beat RDA, or it was 205 maybe, but they did like 3 each day. Remember there was the Ultimate Fighter 23 finale, like Joanna versus Gedalia 2. They had all these events leading up, which was super cool, and like every now and then I think that's great. Maybe if you do that
yeah.
like
I
once a
mean,
year.
yeah, 1,000. I mean, even I mean, do it once every quarter. Like I mean, going back to the Fight Island, like fight night on Wednesdays and Saturdays, like that was cool. But like every single week or every month, like
Overdo it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then people would bitch about it and say, "Oh, there's too much MMA."
I mean, we do that now.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
fucking
comparatively, yeah, it's just undeniably oversaturated, but that's how it is. All right. James says, here's my prediction for Zhang versus Yan. Whaley finishes her in under 3 rounds easy. Whaley has beaten better strikers and better wrestlers. Plus, Whaley has an all-star coaching staff, unlike Xiao Nan. Besides Garbrandt versus Cruz, Team Alpha Male has never made any good game plans. I will agree with that. Yeah, while Whaley in the last 4 had brilliant crafted game plans specific to her opponent that she executes well. So there's not even a question in there, James. That was just a prediction. But I do agree with you for the most part. Again, I love Yan Xiaonan. She's one of my favorites, but I got to be realistic too. I just think the wrestling will definitely be the biggest problem for her in that one. As Rio says, why does UFC only pretend to care about the Asian market? The Road to UFC was only announced last Tuesday, and they dropped the ball on Chinese champion versus number 1 contender by having it in Vegas. Yes, they did. But yeah, I didn't realize Road to UFC was right after. Did you stick around for that?
I did.
And they were good though. Was the funny thing.
I mean, it was. I mean, you could make an argument it was better than the card for it.
I know that's what Steven was saying. We were watching together. But yeah, it's I mean, because then they wouldn't be the worldwide leader, Rio. I think that's the the answer to that question. And then Makoto is here, says, hello, do you guys think that Sanko and Gooden are perfect for Road to UFC? They are both well-researched and well-spoken. I really enjoyed them last year and in 2022 when Road to the UFC first premiered. All the shows I chat. Oh, that's a different separate comment, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've always liked John Gooden and Laura Sanko separate together. They were pretty fun. Like, I don't know how much commentary you heard on Saturday in the back or anything, but
yeah, didn't hear much, but I'm a big fan of John Gooden. I think he should be used more often.
Yeah, absolutely. So all for more of them. And then Mateus, he counters at you, Alex, says UFC 300 is better top to bottom. UFC 200 and 100 featured singular big stars. If Connor is added 300, the narrative would change, in his opinion. I guess he's not countering, but he's adding.
He's fucking agreeing. Mateus, yeah. At least you're fucking, at least you're smart, bro. You're looking at this like, you're not being a crybaby about it, bro. Like, it is like 100 had Brock Lesnar, 200 had Brock Lesnar, 100 had Dan Henderson and Bisping at GSP.
Yep.
Like 100, it was a huge card for the time, but top to bottom, it's not even fucking comparable. 200, it would have been humongous with Jones and Cormier, but that, and then top to bottom, I mean, there was good fights on it.
Yeah.
But comparatively, UFC 300 top to bottom, it blow those cards out of the water. Like, it's not even fucking comparable.
I think that really is a power of hindsight thing, though, to be honest, because like at the time, 200 in the vacuum, fucking nasty. That card was insane, dude. Like it kicked off with Jim Miller and Takanori Gomi. And then I think Gegard Mousasi and Thiago Santos was the second fight or the third fight. Like, of course, the order was a little messed up because like fucking Sage North goes right after that. But listen, 200 in the vacuum was pretty nuts. Yeah. So I'm not saying 300 is bad, though. I'm not one of these guys. Mario says that's what I meant. A small Friday card, then a big Saturday pay-per-view. You can hype up the pay-per-view with a smaller card. Yeah, I don't hate that. If it just can't be the same size, that would be the killer for me. Similar to 267 and 268 being close together. Those were the back-to-back pay-per-view events, right? One of them was numbered. One of them was free, but yeah, a little bit different there. But I get what you're saying. Let's see. Mateus, I've seen too many cards headlined by Anderson and Yushino Kami to complain. Oh, like Sylvia versus Vera was painful as well. Yeah, that's good shouts, good throwbacks. But all right, perfect to end on. Sylvia Vera mentions. Didn't expect those today, but that's what you get with Sound and Pound. You love to hear it. On that note, guys, we appreciate you as always so much. Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe on all YamaMania.com platforms, which is pretty much everywhere. Follow me at DrakeRiggs_, at Alex Behunin on Twitter and Instagram. As for the shameless plugs, I did mention that Uriah Faber interview that is out now. Check it out here on the channel. Also, Alex's Temba Garimbo one. We got plenty more coming. I recently spoke to Five Finger Death Punch guitarist Zoltan Bathory and judo and jiu-jitsu black belts. He's getting involved with the Professional Grappling Federation tournament coming up in April. Sounds super fucking fun, you guys. Just wait till you hear more about the details of it. It is kind of crazy. And of course, being the absolute music metal addict that I am, that was a dream come true because Five Finger Death Punch has been one of my favorite bands since like 2008 when I was in middle school. So I got to meet one of my idols. That was really fun. And he was an awesome fucking guy. A lot of great stories and all that. So if you love music and fighting, definitely check that out. We went on for like an hour 20, so it's a podcast pretty much. But looking to drop that next week. It was awesome. And then, yep, I got a lot of stuff lined up for this week, actually. Just haven't done them yet, so I'm not going to spoil it and jinx them. But Alex, how about you? I know you got one in the can as well. We were talking about before here.
Yeah, I got an interview with Josh Quinn that's probably going to drop within the next 10 minutes on MMA Mania YouTube. Got my tidbits. And just look for Media Day coverage tomorrow. And yeah, that's about it.
All you need. All you need.
That's all you need.
All right, you guys. Until next week, we will see you back here, same time, same place, as we get ready for UFC 297 in Anaheim. Alex will be heading over to that one too, as well, right? Yeah.
I'll be going.
Yes. Okay. So there you go. All right, you guys. Stay safe, stay sane, enjoy the weekend, and we'll see.